the ongoing series of Team Leadership and Development, today we will be talking on a very pertinent topic, that is women and leadership. Women has been into a very disadvantaged role as far as the Indian society is concerned. She was not able to live, she was not able to meet her both ends. She was always in a disadvantaged position, always in a taking role, not in a giving role. She had to face so many bad issues in the society like sati pratha, like overall dowry deaths, domestic violence, whatnot. And she has always faced some security and safety issues also. There are, large number of women which have suffered a lot, that is the rape, that is acid attacks, etc. So owing to her bad position in the society, she was always confined to the four walls, that is always into a stereotype role, that is taking care of the children, taking care of her home, always, cooking for the family, taking care of children, that is always in a care role, not confined to the workplace at all. So when you talk about women taking to the workplaces and women into the leadership positions, this is, alas, a really bad situation as of now also. Although there are saying that, the society has taken a turn and the overall scenario has increased. But yes, if you see the gender gap report of 2021, the statistics are really bad. And still we can say that there's a long way to cross and there are a lot of gaps to be bridged. And there's a road which is less traveled. So much of the efforts are needed for women to be placed in a leadership position at the workplaces. So there's a hypothesis which comes in our mind, that is the demand placed on the leaders, and in today's world means that women are more suited to those roles. So let me give you some positions of as far as the statistics and the statements of the women is concerned, that is for as well as against. The art of management is a gift to women by nature. Women are born to take a responsibility and perform them flawlessly. They can easily manage everything without even a single crease on their forehead. So let me give you some arguments which are in favor of women. Women are the ones who are expected to handle various responsibilities from the childhood, which makes them a good multitasker. Not only this, be it managers in the top companies or the ones who are managing their homes, women in all areas manage their work flawlessly. Their inherent qualities make them good managers as they are more patient in the difficult situation and they are also able to manage these situations without and any kind of a crease on their face, and of course with all kind of positive attitude and the calm mind compared to their counterpart partners. They have the quality of managing their children and are simultaneously able to concentrate on their career as well. So there are some issues, overall we can say they are, taken as against. One, women are very emotional and are soft-hearted, which is considered as weakness in managing things. Although this is not the case, the soft nature of the women should not be taken as her weakness. But this is a myth that normally people behave in such a manner and they have a strong conviction in this regard that women are emotional, and as well as if they are emotional, they have a soft heart and they are weak in managing the things. Although there is no truth in this, they are not practical about the situations is also one of the prime myths which is strongly believed by the people at large. They might be good at managing things at home, but this same strategy cannot be applied in the external environment where they have to work for an organization. They might have all the qualities of managing like courage, like patience, understanding, etc. But these are not the only key quantities required to manage a vast workforce or other difficult situations. So today, we have progressed a lot, but there are many women who are not given a chance to prove themselves or not given enough responsibilities to showcase their potential. A woman alone won't be able to manage the things if she is not supported by her family members. This is also being prevalent thought amongst the people at large. We all are born with some weakness and some strength, and in the same way, women are also having the same strength and weaknesses. They have the power to change their weaknesses into the strength, and if she does that, then even there is no stopping for her. So let me now start with the concept of what leadership is and then connect women in leadership role and the various issues and concerns relating to women in leadership roles. Leadership is a diverse process which has different significance for different individuals. Some of the main characteristics of a leader are: 1. Interpersonal skills, that is, maintaining a good relationship amongst the staff members. Number 2, communication skills, that is, a good leader should be a good listener as well as a speaker. The third value system in terms of the leadership characteristic is respect the group without favoritism. That is, a good leader will not favor anyone. There is no nepotism in his character. Whosoever are a part of the workforce, all are respected by him without any kind of favoritism. Now followed by, he should also have the organizational consciousness, that is, breaking the barriers to achieve the goals. That is, he should have that capability, potential to break any kind of a problem, embodiment, impediment and a barrier, because he is the one who has to lead the way. He is the one who has to achieve the goals. He is the one to meet the ends. So with this conviction, that is the one of the basic characteristic of a leadership position, to whosoever an individual is, he should have that kind of organizational consciousness. Followed by confidence. Adopt a measured approach whilst under pressure also. That is, a good leader should have immense confidence in whatever activity he does. Not only this, he should have the creativity skills with him. He should be able to innovate, investigate, a problem-solving mindset. If he is not creative enough to take care of the new problems which are emerging because of the challenging dynamic environment around him, that is going to be a big problem. So he should have those creativity skills with him, should be able to innovate and investigate an issue with a very critical mindset, with a very important problem-solving set of skills. A good leader should be achieving the results. He should be able to accomplish the goals by motivating the workforce. Now coming on to the gender and leadership styles and effectiveness, that is male versus female leadership. Historically, gender has prohibited most females from becoming the leaders in the organization. As a result, the assumption that males were better suited than the females for a leadership role was, until recently, a rarely questioned. The women who aspire to educational leadership positions in the male-defined structure of academia can either live her womanliness up or she can live it down. If she chooses to practice a profession by following the rules and the habits long established by the male practitioners, she risks offending the old customs defining the female virtue. If she behaves in a professional environment according to an archaic female norms, she appears weak. Now coming on to some contradictions. These contradictions demonstrate the conflict women experience in regard to how they are expected to behave as women and how they are expected to behave as professionals. So let me first talk about men, and then I will be showing the similar aspects for the women. Men, he is aggressive, whereas on the opposite and the other perspective, as far as the women is concerned, she is little pushy about the things. A man is actually a stern taskmaster, whereas when you talk about she is hard to work for. He is good on details, whereas if you talk about a female, she is very picky about the things. He is very confident, whereas if you talk about she's perspective, she is concerned, and of course she has to be on a different mindset. Whereas if you talk about the males, he exercises the authority diligently, whereas she is power mad. So, these are the prevalent thoughts about male versus female into a leadership role. When you talk about women in leadership, women brings diversity of thought, diversity of experience, diversity of behavior, which are actually very, very critical component of the business success. For some organizations, it is very crucial to have a women on the board as they bring a lot of competitive advantages. To be able to see the women in leading and senior management roles, the companies need to recruit more female staff. They need to develop their skills. They need to retain them also. So when you talk about women and the leadership role, these are primarily three critical issues which you need to take care of. The first is you have to talk about their recruitment. You need to develop their skills and make them the challenges ready for the organization, because when you talk about the corporate, the skills are needed at par excellence and nobody is competent enough with the born skills. So the first and the foremost thing when you talk about a female leadership is to talk about their recruitment, then about developing their required amount of skills which make them competent for a particular position, and of course to sustain on that particular position for a longer period of time. Then of course you need to retain them also. Then these three things are very critical, crucial for the development of the organization, and if you want to take the organization to par excellence, to the development at the highest point, these three things have to be strategically managed, not into a pure plain strategy. You need to be very strategic about the recruitment part, the development of the skills part, and of course to retain them, because to retain a female into an organization is also a very difficult task, because there are corporates which are always looking for the good leadership positions, so they will offer the better pay scales, the better career plans, better career options. So there will be no time in which an individual will leave that organization and join the other one, because everyone and anyone is looking for a good position, a leadership position, a steering position in the corporate sector. So to retain them, to develop their skills and to recruit the female staff, critically they have to be seen in one frame so that women is there in that organization for a sustained period of time. Not only this, you also need to ensure of having the right support also. provide them with immense opportunities to apply for the senior positions and the senior roles. The organizations which have no concern about giving a she or a female a right kind of a support system, then of course that organization will become titanic and the end is not far. Not only this, people look for the opportunities. People look for a good positions also in the organization. So the corporate have to give a good opportunities to the senior positions which is being offered to the females at large. Now I'll be giving you some historical view so that we view the leadership position and have a deep insight about the historical view also and strategize for the future. So the first and the foremost we are going to talk about is women and the leadership approach description, a historical view. Let us first talk about gender and leadership. That is, a popular press reported the differences between the women and the men. Women is always taken to be in an inferior position to men. Way back in 1977, women lacked the skills and the traits which are very important and necessary for the managerial success. Superiority of the women in leadership positions way back in 1990. So the researchers, they ignored the issues related to gender and the leadership until 1970. So this is a very sad state of affairs that women is about 50% of the population, and the issues and the concerns about her development as the leader has been completely ignored till the year 1970, which is definitely very, very, sad state of affairs and very bad for the corporate sector. Now coming on to some different perspective, that is the gender and the leadership scholars, they started asking, can women lead? It changed by a women in leadership. The presence of women in the corporate and political leadership scenario. Highly effective female leaders. They have eBay CEOs, A1 CEO, NY Senator, and the Secretary of the State, etc. So current research primary questions which are very prevalent and important to be discussed. What are the leadership style and effectiveness, differences between the women and the men? The questions are very important. They wreck our mind. Why are the women stocky? They are underrepresented in the elite leadership roles or the C-suite positions. So we need to dive into the situation and try to find out what are the particular factors which are responsible for this particular scenario. Now coming on to the mainstream press, which was reported way back in 1990 to 2000, there are immense gender differences. The contemporary society, women leadership is more effective. The researchers, they argue that gender has little or no relationship to the leadership style and effectiveness. There was a meta-analysis done by Eagerly and Johansson in 1990. Women were not found to lead in a more interpersonally oriented and less task-oriented manner than men in the organizations. Only the gender differences, that is, the women use a more participatory or democratic style than men. So this particular outcome of different types of empirical work, right from 2000 to 1990 to 1987, and there are n number of empirical studies to this effect, which have the same conclusion and the same research outcome, which very, very clearly states that if you have a women leader or women in a C-suite position or the top-notch position, she will always be more democratic and participatory compared to a male leader or a male counterpart in the similar position. So that means She is more democratic in her style. She is more participatory in her style. She will have a more enveloping approach wherein people at large will be invited for the vital decision-making process, which is definitely a very important outcome. And whosoever are strategizing as far as the women leadership positions are concerned, they need to be very categorical about the strategies they have to build, because inherent nature of the women is more democratic and participatory. Not talking in air, there are so many empirical evidences which proves this particular fact. Then additionally, the meta-analysis by Van Egan 2001, examining the research between 1987 to 2000, they also found the similar results. So what are those similar results? That is, the women is more participatory and democratic in her style. The meta-analysis of the male and the female leaders on all the characteristics and the behavior, Eagerly, Mekijani and Kolanki 1992. Women were devalued when they work in the male-dominated environment and when the evaluators were men. This is also a very, very sad state of affairs. When a female is going to a work environment, she is putting her heart and soul into the work. And when you talk about the evaluation part of male versus the female, she is the one whose work is always devalued. Why? She is also putting the same amount of time and money. She is also putting the same amount of effort. So why this is the situation? Because we are living in a male-dominated environment, that is a patriarchal society. So these are some unwelcome trends which needs to be stopped immediately. The females evaluated also the unfavorable when they used a different directive or autocratic style, that is stereotypical male. So the female and the male leaders are evaluated favorably when they used a democratic leader style. So stereotypically it is feminine. So this is again a good step. That is, if you want some humanity at a larger degree and the extent, you want the people to value each and every individual who is a part of the workforce. You really want a leader to envelop everyone, to take everyone along for the vital decision making. Yes, this is a female leader and this is a favorable style of leadership, that is the democratic and participatory style of leadership. The answer is only a female, which is definitely by her inherent nature, she is stereotypically feminine. Now talking about the transformational leadership, that is TL. There was also a meta-analysis done eagerly ETL in 2003. They also found the differences between the female and the male leaders on these transformation leader styles. 1. Female styles tend to be more transformational than the men. Women tend to engage in more contingent reward behaviors than men. All are aspects of the leadership that predict effectiveness. So overall we can say, as far as the transformational leadership is concerned, that if you talk about a male and a female, the female tends to be more transformational in nature. That is, she has a potential and the capabilities to change the men from within, to change the people from within. And they want to change. That kind of a contention and that kind of a seed is implanted by a female in the minds of the workforce. So overall, women's style lead to be more transformational in nature compared to males. And of course, all these aspects of the leadership are, they are predicting as far as the effectiveness is concerned. So the meta-analysis reports convey a very clear trend as far as the female and the male leaders are concerned, that the females are more transformational compared to the male leaders.